Perceval Landon was a British traveller and writer. He was born in 1869 in Hastings, the son of Reverend Edward Henry Landon and Caroline Perceval. The Landon family were Huguenots come to London in the 1680s after the revocation of the Edict of Nantes. He attended Forest School and Hertford College, Oxford, graduating in 1892. He was a Times war correspondent during the Second Boer War in 1899 to 1900. He joined the British expedition to Tibet 1903 to 1904. His 1905, The Opening of Tibet, about his experiences, being the most well-known of his travel writings. From 1903 to 1925 he spent over 20 years travelling, often as the Times correspondent, to the Middle East, Persia, China and India. His old friend Rudyard Kipling was concerned about his health when Kipling had to sail to South America in 1927, but being hopeful of his recovery. However, Landon died shortly thereafter on January 23, 1927. We will cover his seemingly only collection, the 1908 Raw Edges. Railhead concerns a story the narrator heard second-hand from his friend Torrance, about Silbermeister, a station master at the very end of the Nebraska railway line, mid-expansion, out in the middle of nowhere. One day a man died, among so many others working on the line, so the train bringing the labourers' pay also brought a coffin. That night Silbermeister disconnects his telegraph machine, but still somehow keeps getting warning telegrams through it, and acting on them catches his servant conspiring with a thief who's been hiding in the coffin the entire time, for the sake of the money at the station. The railway authorities arrive to seize the man, but Silbermeister just holds his head in an existential crisis when they tell him they came after his telegram, the one he never sent, from a machine that was unplugged. This sells the otherwise minuscule fantastic element. In Thurnley Abbey, the only story for which Landon is remembered today, we see Colvin tell us why he is afraid to sleep alone, by telling a complete stranger of the time he went to the titular Thurnley Abbey, an old abbey infirmary owned by his friend Broughton, and how he was invited to stay there to help Broughton with a problem. A ghost of a nun that also shows up one night to stare at Colvin while he sleeps, staring at him with sightless eyes out of a rotten skinless face. Convincing himself it is but a doll set up to scare him, he smashes it to bits. But it is not a doll, and that is all I will say. Stupendous. The Journal of Mrs. Rivers only barely counts as a ghost story, 99% of it concerning a woman refusing to let exonerating evidence come to light to save an innocent woman from being executed for murder, all because Mrs. Rivers would rather have an innocent woman die than have the man everyone already suspects of being her lover testify that he saw the real murderer and thus prove he spent the night at her house. The ghost of the innocent dead woman shows up about 3 lines before the end of the story, and most is just implied. This one was excruciating. The gyroscope concerns a massive gyroscope being tested as part of a scientific lecture, but someone tries to stop it and it breaks loose, and starts smashing up walls and people alike, till the narrator, the only survivor, is buried, quote, up to the waist in bricks and mortar and dead men.